All right, let's get started. Hello everyone. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully we get some members to join and we can have a discussion. Today I want to talk a little bit, since it's January, almost January 2025, we want to talk a little bit about um resolutions, New Year's resolutions, goals, that kind of stuff to just kind of help encourage um, each other to continue on and how to be successful in the goals that you set. I hope everybody had an awesome Christmas and hopefully the New Year's a blessing to all of you. And so I just want to say that it's every the new year is a new opportunity for us to kind of start fresh and just to kind of take inventory of our life and see where we're at and see if we um if we feel like we need to make some changes, which I think we all can be honest and say that we always have things that we can work on. Um, and so it's good to just kind of consider like what can we do to have a more fulfilling life, to be healthier, to have better relationships, all those things. And that should be a daily thing, not just once a year, but every day, just be thinking about how can you improve and grow and just be better than you were the day before. But the reality is that we all struggle, right? We all struggle. We all know that we should be healthier. We should be more uh, involved in our relationships with our family. We should be better at saving our money and um, just being better stewards of what we have. But just knowing and doing are you know hard sometimes to do, right? And that's kind of what we talk about in our programs in terms of how to take what you should do and turn it into action. And that's kind of what I want to cover today during this meeting. So, uh, like I said, we all struggle with um, sticking to our habits or sticking to our goals, I should say, because the path of least resistance is usually not the most beneficial, right? It's easier to be not to be unhealthy. It's easier just to spend all your money and buy whatever you want and be, driven by material possessions. And it's easier to just not work on our relationships because those take work. But when it comes down to it, that's ultimately we want the things that we want take more effort. And so just reminding ourselves day in and day out of that. And so I want to talk a little bit about the science behind habit formation, right? So habits are formed through a process known as habit loop, which consists of three components. So you have the cue, the routine, and the reward, right? So we all have habits, good or bad. And if you think about it, every habit has a bit of like a trigger. Probably the easiest one to think about is like smoking, right? Um, People that are addicted to cigarettes have developed these certain habits, which aside from the fact that nicotine is addictive, um, it's the habit that is also hard to break. And so people tend to, right, they first get up in the morning, they might have a cup of coffee and then they have a cigarette. They might have some breakfast or some food, immediately they want to go have a smoke. When they're driving, I know, talked to a lot of people that, driving in the car is a trigger for them, and then that's when they want to have a smoke and it's hard to kick that. And so just becoming aware of your cues, your routines can help you um, make make some adjustments in your daily life so that you don't have those uh, you can kind of break that pattern. But then you can also build certain patterns, right? So if you start to say that you want to wake up in the morning and exercise, right? So maybe the first thing you do is when you first wake up, you have a big glass of water, um, and stretch, and then start, and then you couple that with your exercise, or whatever it is, that can set up a kind of a cue and help you develop that routine. So it's important to know that to develop a habit, it takes consistency. It takes, action, consistent action on a routine basis. And so it takes roughly 21 to 66 days to establish a new habit, depending on the complexity and the, challenge of the habit. But, and it's important to understand that, um, you have to have a plan. You have to create a plan, and I'll talk about that here in a minute too. But you have to create a plan, and then put some action to that, and know that setbacks are normal, right? You're not gonna, there are gonna be days when you don't do exactly what you wanted to do, but if you at least have a plan and you have it written down and uh, a clear path, then at least when you don't um, fulfill that, or you feel like you get off track, you have something to measure it by and say, okay, I didn't I didn't complete my goal yesterday, but today's a new day, and now I can keep going. I can get on track here, and I can do what I've set out to do. And again, we tend to be all or nothing, right? Most of us are all or nothing. If I can't do it every day, then I just won't do it, kind of thing. Or if we miss a day or two, then we just give up because we think we're not successful, and we kind of beat ourselves up. So it's important to be compassionate to yourself too, and understanding and encouraging, just like you would if to your kids, if you have kids, when they are trying to learn a new habit or trying to do something to learn something, you encourage them, and if they don't get it right the first time, you don't tell them just to give up, right? You encourage them, say, well, just hang in there, keep going, keep doing it, you'll get it. So kind of do that for yourself as well. If you don't fulfill your goal for the day, just think, okay, well, today's done. It's okay. I'm just gonna keep working on it, keep getting there, and it's just those small steps every day that help you climb that mountain. So again, don't be so hard on yourself. So demanding or so critical. Be a little bit, have some compassionate for your some compassion for yourself, um, and just keep encouraging yourself to just keep taking one step. Progress is progress, even if it's not exactly as much as you'd like. At least you're taking the steps in the right direction. So hang in there, keep doing it. You maybe have heard of SMART goals. And this stands for um, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. These are ways to, if you don't, everybody says, oh, I just want to be healthier, and I want to exercise more. Well, it's not really an actionable goal that you can actually get behind, because it's very vague, right? Everybody says, oh, I want to be healthier, I want to lose some weight, right? But turning a want into a desire and putting some action behind it takes some effort. Just like eating healthy, right? In order to eat healthy, you kind of have to plan a little bit. You have to do some meal prep. You have to figure out, like, what are the right kind of foods, and where do I get them, and make some preparations so that you can be successful with that. So um, you you should include SMART goals in your resolution. So again, that's specific. So be specific about what you want. For example, instead of saying I just want to get healthy, try maybe say I'm going to walk for 30 minutes every day. Um, that's specific. So how much and what kind of exercise you're going to do, what kind of food you're going to eat, how often, those sorts of things. Be as specific as you can be. Uh, make them measurable. So um, if have something that you can measure and say, okay, yep, I did my 30-minute exercise today, check. You can measure that 3 times a week or whatever. Um, so that way you can kind of track your progress and see, whether you're keeping hitting your target or not. And then again, don't let that be a discouragement to the point where you just give up, but make it a more of an encouragement. Like, okay, I'm at least I'm working out twice a week. Now I'm gonna pick it up and try to get 3 days a week or whatever. Make sure they're achievable, right? So don't make it so hard of a goal that you really don't believe there's any chance that you can reach that. If I were to just say, oh, I want to run an ultra marathon. Well, I've never really even ran a marathon. So, and I don't really run very often. So to say that is not really realistic. So first thing I would say is like, okay, I'm going to run a 5K once a week, and then I'm going to work up to a full marathon or whatever it is. So make sure it's achievable, a little bit challenging, but achievable. And then the R is for relevant. So choose goals that align with your values, right? We talked about this when in your wellness program, you have to find the why. You have to find what motivates you and your purpose of for being healthy, right? If it's not something that's super important to you, then you're less likely to stick with it. So make sure that it's uh, very relevant to your desires, your purpose, right? So that's and then time bound, right? So set a time frame for achieving your goal. For example, I said maybe run a marathon. I'm going to run a marathon in 3 months. So that gives me that time frame of like, okay, now I need to break that down into um, smaller little chunks through that time until 3 months from now I'm running a marathon kind of thing. So make it time sensitive so that you can kind of track your progress and gives you that deadline of motivation. Once you reach your deadline, then you set new ones, right? You just continue on with that and just think of your health as a journey. Um, so again, the key to sticking with your resolution is focusing on consistency rather than perfection, right? Don't be a perfectionist. Just be consistent. Say, well, I may not do the 30-minute workout that I wanted to do, but I'm gonna at least go and do a 5-minute walk or a 10-minute walk or something, right? And so these small, regular efforts will lead to long-term results. So one step in the right direction is a step in the right direction. So don't be too hard on yourself, but encourage yourself. Um, start small. Small and small steps. So think about what is your big goal, and then how are you going to break that down into smaller steps. You can It might be helpful to track your progress using some sort of a list or a check off sheet or something to kind of keep you going. Celebrate your wins. So maybe have something that you'll treat yourself. If you can stick to this habit for 2 weeks, maybe you say, well, if I do this, then I'm gonna buy myself something, or give myself a reward, and just keep building on that. And again, if you miss a day, don't just give up entirely. We all know that it's going to happen, right? That's just life, and so just hang in there. Just stay on track and just keep working at it, keep going. So, and you'll build that confidence, and then pretty soon you'll have less and less of these setbacks, and the setbacks won't affect you nearly as often and as much. So. Um, be realistic about the challenges that you may face. It's how why are you doing what you're doing? So be thinking of that. Think and just realize that yeah, hurdles are going to come, obstacles are going to come. So just think, okay, we're just going to take it in stride. It may be helpful to have somebody that you have in your life that keeps you accountable, which I mean, honestly, is what this meeting could be. That if you join it once every week, that we could talk about your goals and how you doing, and just making sure you're sticking with it. Or a family member or a friend that could help you, keep you on track. Ask how you're doing. It'd be awesome too if they joined you in that, in your goal and in the whatever practice you're doing. So, um, yeah, so I talk a lot about being kind to yourself. I think we're just a lot of us are very critical, to ourselves, and we just don't, we kind of beat ourselves up. And so then that just kind of, it's a kind of, like I said, an all or nothing type of mentality instead of being compassionate and patient with ourselves. So, just learn to be a little bit compassionate to yourself, and surround yourself with positive people, positive messages, friends, family, um, and if you can help, kind of, it may help to remove some triggers. So if you, again, hopefully your goal is to eat healthier. So um, don't don't let the unhealthy food in your house, so then it's easier to avoid those things. If your goal is to exercise more, then maybe scheduling a daily time to exercise, and then having your exercise clothes set out ready to go, for whatever time, or in the bag that you put in your car so that you can go to the gym, or whatever it is, just to make that those steps a little bit easier. And so yeah, in conclusion, just kind of wrapping this up, uh, it's never too late to start making some resolutions. It doesn't have to be every New Year's. It can be, today's a good day just to have that new resolution and to start working towards um, being healthier and happier and having better relationships. Those are all important parts of our health, and of course, stress management. And so, hopefully, as you guys are progressing through your programs, you're learning these habits and you're incorporating these habits to, um, again, think of it as a journey. Don't think of it as like, oh, I'm just going to do this for 3 months and then I'll be done and I can go back to what I was doing. Think of it as a journey. Like, this is the new me. I'm a healthier person, and I'm going to just stay on this path. And some days I will, get off track and off the path, but I'll get back on the next day. And um, so yeah, the power to transform your life is in it's up to you, right? You have to be empowered. You have to take this in as the most important thing in your life, and find your reason, and then just keep it, taking one step at a time, one day at a time, and find people that can cheer you on and encourage you to keep moving. So let's see. Looks like we don't have anybody on. But I would love to hear any questions or challenges you're facing as you work towards your resolutions. Let's, maybe send us some comments, or you could maybe even comment below this video about maybe some challenges that you've overcome, and how you've created some healthier habits and how you were able to stick with those things. Um, or if you have questions about maybe what you can do, or I would love to hear your goals. So my goal, um, my goal for 2025 is to be uh, healthier and wealthier. So I want to eat less, less of the sugary foods, the sweets. I tend to have more of a sweet tooth, so I want to eat less of those kind of foods, more whole foods, and just make sure I'm doing something physically active every day, getting outside, just going for a walk, of course, exercising on a regular basis, those sorts of things, and then be more deliberate about my relationships with my family and friends, and just make sure I tell my family and friends that I love them and spend good quality time with them. So those are some of my goals for 2025, and I hope you have some that are motivating and encouraging to you. And yeah, we'll see you guys at the next meeting.